Okay, it's actually taping. Part 2, unplanned part 2. As you know, I'm sitting here in my clothes from walking, in my bed, because it was the easiest place to set up real quick, and Birdie jumped off the bed. I've got this all propped up, and the camera took a tumble. So that's part 1, and gonna close up part 2 here because the dogs are never this active. My pugs are like down for the count, and it's like, because Mama's in here trying to put on a show, all of a sudden they are just all out of sorts. So so hopefully I'm gonna try and edit that tumble out of that one, but just trying to pick up where I left off. It is Wednesday, July 17th, in the Dallas area in Texas, and it's Diane. And I think where I left off when we had our own personal earthquake here, meaning the pugs jumped off went down and bounced off the bed. I was talking about Granny Vera, and she was, oh, she was so sweet. Everyone loved Granny Vera, and she grew up in South Texas, and she was the oldest of, I don't know how many kids. It was like her father was a farmer, and her maiden name was Cook, and she became Vera Myers. She married my grandfather, who, I can't remember if I've shared this. I probably have, but I think I have. But he was 25 years older than my grandma, and pure genius, and I never met him. He's in the who's who of civil engineering. He's got some of his things in a museum, but anyway, he was just a genius and a very quiet man. Now, Granny Vera was total opposite. She was a people person. She was someone that everyone could come to for help, and I know I shared this before, but I'll say it again. I think during the Depression, sometime during that time period, that in her house, somehow the people that were hobos or homeless or whatever, due to the Depression, had marked her house as someplace that was welcoming and would, help them out. So she just was a delight, and I just can remember wonderful times. She lived in University Park, and which is a nice area of Dallas. And just a little fun fact, my grandfather was much older than my grandmother. She was born in, I think, 1908 or 1910, sometime around there. So he was born in 1800 sometime, and so he was, like I said, a very well-known civil engineer, and during that time frame, he probably even before Granny Vera, before they met and got married, and he did the seawall down in Galveston. He did the Trinity Bridge here in the Dallas area. He did the engineering, civil engineering, for a lot of downtown Dallas, and SMU, Southern Methodist University campus. And he just, I mean, this was times back in, back in older times and simpler times. And from what I've heard, at least family lore, is that, there was like some place that everybody would meet for lunch. There was like a group of 12, and they would hold court. They would have lunch every day, and it was like a round table, and I wish I had known him. I wish there was a diary from him. You know, it's neither one of my grandfathers did I grow up knowing. They had passed before, you know, I was, I think Grandpa Dig was probably alive when I was born, but by the time I, you know, would remember anything, I don't remember ever meeting him. But again, this was a picture of Granny Vera, and I'm guessing this was after she already, maybe she was dating my grandfather before they got married, but she was like a flapper. And you can see, you know, she bobbed her hair. We found some photos, you know, all I can think of the word is snazzy dresser, and you know, back in the those time frames. And probably if I was back that time, I probably would have been a flapper, and I can guarantee you my daughters would have been. So anyway, love Granny Vera, love staying at her house. And I just remember, you know, how smells can just take you back. That when we would spend the night at her house, she would get up and be cooking in the kitchen, and oh, she made, I guess at home we probably just had cereal or oatmeal or a matzo meal, but she always had the best cereal. Or she would do sunny side up eggs but hard, and then, you know, bacon. I don't think we ever ate bacon, you know, for breakfast, unless we were eating out or something. So, oh, it was just a treat. And she just was a wonderful person. And anyway, there's a picture, I think, both on Instagram and on my Facebook page. You'd have to, you know, look at my photos, but there's a picture of my Granny Vera and my mom when she was probably 4-ish, I'm guessing. And Granny Vera has her hair bobbed, and you know, I think I look like my dad's side, but I also look like Granny Vera. So it's kind of strange how you can look like both sides of the family. But anyway, this Pictopat, it does end up making like so many colors, that the gradations and the patterns. I can show this because it's my picture. You know, it's not, I didn't buy it, I made it. So, you know, it spits out a pattern, and it will replicate the picture. So I haven't accessed that site or, you know, run anything through there, but it's called PIC 2, the number 2, and then Pat, like the name Pat. And it's really kind of fun. And I must have seen it on somebody's Flosstube video, and it does come out exactly like the photo. So if there's some photo you cherish and that you would like to, you know, have forever, you know, or make it for somebody as a gift, it's kind of like a heaven and earth design. It's going to take you forever to do it, but well worth it if you pick out the pattern that talks to you, you know, talks to your soul. What else can I catch you up on? Oh, you know, as my creative juices are coming back, quilting is, I'm getting back interested with it, and I can't, it's kind of like ukuleles. I'm not going to tell you how many sewing machines I have, and I love old singers. And back originally when I started quilting, back when my oldest daughter was like maybe 2 or 3, went to my grandma Deg's house. She was the quilter. Granny Vera, my mom, did not do any, you know, stitching of any sort. And I got everything that, I guess, the love of it, or through bloodline. She did watercolors. I think I have pictured on my Instagram and Facebook. My dad gave me her toolbox with all her watercolors from, it had to be from the 50s or something. It's just amazing. It's like, I could see it sitting in a museum someplace. But so she painted, she sewed, she was a self-taught quilter, and through the Dag line there was a long line of quilters. And I think I talked about Aunt Cal, which I have one of a quilt top and then a completed quilt. It's a Irish, the one that I have for my dad, it was Aunt Cal made it, and it was a Irish chain, single Irish chain, and it's red and white. It's gorgeous. It is just, it's just amazing what they did back then with absolutely no tools, hand cutting out everything, paper templates, and the very tiny stitches. But anyway, I think I'm not talking out of sorts. I think I'm a 5th generation quilter, and I'm still holding out hope that one of my daughters will pick it up, even just a little bit. It just would really be cool to pass that on, because you know, there's so many advances on quilting. And so going back to what started this, I watch a lot of YouTube. I really don't watch TV. I watch a lot of YouTube, and came across a channel called Quilt Roadies, and her name is Anna Bates, and I believe she lives in Oregon, and her husband are retired, and I think she's in her late 60s, and they have like an RV, and they travel to different parts of the country and go to quilt stores or shows and interview the artist, because quilting has become an art form. And if you haven't been exposed to it, you might want to just, you know, Google it, go to Yahoo. It's just phenomenal what artists can do. I've never done anything that complex, but even since I did quilting, you know, the most recent quilts I did, one was just with the pre-stripped, you know, the pre-cut strips, and just sewing them together, and then I machine quilted it. But even since, you know, I was making my little lucky quilts that are like this big, but that takes hours and hours and hours to make it. You use a lot of embroidery stitches. It's very folk looking. I think I have pictures on my Facebook. Go to my Facebook and you'll find out all about me, probably more than you ever wanted to know. But anyway, just since I've been, you know, in the thick of it, so to speak, I mean, I used to be really into it and go down to Houston to the International Quilt Festival and take courses from international teachers. And back then, and I think I talked about this in one of the videos that got disrupted, and I'll just mention it, the little Singer Featherweight, and it was probably the first portable sewing machine, electric sewing machine, and it looks like a little toy. And back when I started quilting and I was married, and I mean, for you to have a featherweight was just amazing. I mean, that was something that you didn't run across them like we do now, like with eBay or just the different avenues where you can find them now on the web. I got one. I don't know if it was for Christmas, my birthday, or whatever, and I still have it. And to date, that is my favorite Singer machine of the antique machines, and they're just adorable. What else can I do? Oh, so I started watching her show and started finding out more about different, you know, quilting tools, and it just got me thinking about it again. And there's an artist called, I think her name's Laura Heine, and she does collage quilts, and I purchased a couple of her patterns. I'm going to learn how to do it. It is I think once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. One of the quilts was it's like 40 by 70 inches, and I'll have to show you the pattern. To get all the fabrics you would need, it would take a lot of searching for it. So there was a sale on the kit, so for something like that, it may look like it's costly, but it's going to save you a lot of time and effort. And I think it was the original fabrics that are shown in the pattern. And also bought one that's like a dog, and I think I'm going to adapt it to make it a pug. And then also there's there's little mini ones, like our 13 by 17 or something like that, 11 by 17, and where you can get them, they're not as complex. And there was a fox that was really cute. So coming up on my hopefully my next video, I will show you those. But I am getting back into sewing of all different kinds, and who knows what kind of adventures I'm gonna land in. But thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. You know, since I quit doing as many stitching related things, I lost quite a few subscribers. But thank you for those of you that have stuck with me, and just through my life updates. I truly appreciate it. Anyway, I haven't had dinner yet, and it's almost 3 in the morning, so you can tell my body clock is just totally switched around. But have a great week. Stay in the air conditioning if you're in the South, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.